Dana and Frank, come on. Frank, you got to dance.
Welcome to Read My Lips Radio, a lively hour of unscripted conversations with savvy creatives. Producer and host, akaRadioRed, asks novelists, artists, photographers, designers, comedians, actors, musicians, composers, screenwriters, directors, and technology innovators about their creative passion, inspirational muses, and how they create. Ooh, how those lips can talk. Now, here's akaRadioRed.
Radio Red is in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're doing... Oh, there she is. She is. Marcia, unmute so we can hear you, dear. Unmute. There you go. Marcia Jacobi, I'm going to have to change your name for Zoom. Let me just go do that real fast because her real name is not Samsung. I promise you that. Hold on, let me get it. Marcia Jacobi. Don't we just love our technology? I got a capital A in there. Marcia, I'm coming. Marcia, say hello so we know you're with us.
Hello.
Oh, thank everybody. Let's have a round of, okay, we're going to give you a special round of applause. Nobody in the audience knows that we've been working on this and working on this. Here we go. All right, here we go. Just for you, Marcia, my love. Just for you. Okay, good. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Officially here. So many devices, so many things to do. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm akaRadioRed. I think that's who I am today. Yeah, it's Monday. I'm never sure. I have different names every day of the week. This is my place where I talk to interesting, creative people, and we are certainly getting creative today, aren't we, Marcia? There we go. Marcia, stop bouncing around. I'm going to need a Dramamine in a second there. I think she's riding a horse in the background there. Settle down, lady. Look at that hair. Okay. Guests, we haven't done any talking because we were so busy with technical stuff, but I'd like you all to do me a favor. I want you to put your hands up in the shape of the letter L, and I want you on the count of three. There you go, Dana. The count of three to join me in saying hello, L, L, L. Just that speed. Just exactly right. 1, 2, 3. Hello, L. L. Jordan, mark them down for tied for second place for most in sync group for the LLLs. Frank, I know you're wondering who in the heck is that? LLL is lovely, lanky Laura Legs, our most loyal listener. She's been my friend for about 15 years. And if she's listening today at 6:01 p.m. Eastern Time, she will email me and she'll say a little book report on what Marcia said and what Dana said, on what Frank said. And she calls me beautiful, gorgeous lady of red. So I always look forward to those emails. She's a long line of friends and family who have done that over the years, and I look forward to those so much. So here we are. My goodness, let's check and see. It is August 4th. Can you believe we've already been through January, February, March, April, May, June, July? What is going on with this year? We waited for New Year's Eve. We waited last year, and now bingo, we're almost at time for kids are starting school already. This is the 216th day of the 2025 Gregorian calendar. And Dana, I don't know when your birthday is, but if you were under the Julian calendar and it was the first week of October, you wouldn't get a birthday because he didn't figure out the moon and the sun and the tides and all that. And it was just missing every couple of years. So I want to tell you, Frank, Gregorian came along, Pope Gregorian. I think his mother should be very proud of him. At some point, he said, wait a minute, Julian, this isn't working. And I'm going to go and I'm going to put this thing called a leap day every fourth year. And all of a sudden, bingo, Marcia, the October people like me got their birthdays back. I wasn't alive back then, but that's okay. It's still important to all of us. There are 149 days left in the year. This is the 31st Monday, and nobody cares about that except me. A couple notes. Today is Meghan Markle's birthday, the Duchess of Sussex. There you go. It's Billy Bob Thornton's birthday. It's Greta Gerwig's birthday. She did the screenplay and she directed Barbie. It's Barack Obama's birthday. We don't get political here, and it's Daniel Day Kim, the actor. It's their birthday. And I want you all to know that on this day in 1958, Billboard launched its Hot 100 chart, which combined a whole bunch of other Billboard charts. It was very confusing where a song was. Ricky Nelson's Poor Little Fool. Oh, yeah, I've been a fool. Dana, please. I know it's terrible when I sing. It was the first #1 song ever. I just had to do that. So let's see now. Oh, it's also National Chocolate Chip Day. Marcia, I want you to know that's very important. It's Single Working Women's Day. Yay! Frank, this is for you because you're out on the beach. It's International Owl Awareness Day. Frank, I expect you to hold the banner and you're going to celebrate. And if anybody you know has a service dog or an assistance dog, it's Assistance Dog Day, helping people live more independently. It's August. It's Peach Month, Sandwich Month, Catfish. Now, Cass on that. Goat Cheese Month. I used to like that in salads. Panini Month, Citrus Month, and Brownies at Brunch. I think we can all celebrate that. So now I'm going to do my official opening. And when I call your names, I'd like you to smile and wave because we are live on LinkedIn, Facebook twice, and YouTube. So here we go. Welcome to Cool Conversations with Creatives on our radiant stage, where sparks of insight meet the muses we engage. AKA Radio Red on her Scarlett mic so bright, hosts the echoes of creativity. Can you hear them? Echo, echo, echo. In her live streaming flight. Today, she honors three creatives who were stylish, brave, and true, with panelists whose passions inspire all they do. Marcia Jacobi, wave. Frank, pronounce your last name for me. Is it Buchholz?
Buchholz.
Buchholz, Frank Buchholz, and Dana S. Diaz gather round, sharing experiences and wisdom where their creativity is found. Here we go. Marcia, you're up first. Listen up. I created this just for you. Inspired by Vernon, her grandpa so dear, a chemist, a poet, an artist, his wisdom was sincere. Marcia grew up with compassion as her guide, a heart for the elderly shall always abide. She earned her degree, then chose her own way. Nursing home activity director, 4 decades she would stay. Now, administrator, she thrives in her role. And Marcia just wrote her book with humor and with soul. If these scrubs could talk, a bold healing start. She now paints watercolor scenes with grace and with heart. Marcia?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you like
I
that?
love it.
I'm glad. I'm so glad you were able to get your
Thank
technology
you. Thank
straightened
you
out.
so much.
And you're welcome. Now let's go to Frank Buchholz. From the Midwest to Cali's sun-kissed shore. That's where he is today. Frank sought a career that meant moving no more. With finance in hand and ambition in play, Frank launched into advising the smart money way. His golden playbook shares tips tried and true for 401ks and investors brand new. 12 rules with heart, from mistakes to give back, with gratitude and guidance, keeping portfolios on track. Frank still loves fast cars and exploring each coast, but helping folks grow their wealth is what he loves the most. Frank, what'd you think?
Outstanding. Very, very good. Outstanding, truly.
You look like you're in
Thank
shock.
you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. It's like, where did Frank go? And Dana S. Diaz, and we'll ask you later what the S stands for. I use, on my real name, I use D as my middle initial. From Chicago streets where cultures collide, Dana danced, wrote, but kept her dreams alive inside. From the Dana Show to tap, jazz, and flair, she poured out her heart with poetic care. A violist, a dreamer with disco in stride, Crystal Gale's voice stirred deep tears, Dana would confide. Dana wrote, gasping for air, through pain hard to bear, she rose from the ashes with deep truth to share. Her memoirs now echo through each healing page, a bold, heartful voice breaking each silence and cage. Dana, what'd you think?
Lovely. I loved it.
I'm glad. And now I'll close this part of the show. So gather round where the cool vibes sway. Thank you for the palm tree, Frank, as we dive deep into creativity today. With Radio Red's mic lighting the way, we hope to inspire you to live large, love life, and play. So what'd you all think? Did you like your welcome?
Very good. Very good.
See, I call these my gifts to my guests. I don't think you'll be on any other shows where they do your life story in 10
No.
lines that rhyme.
No.
There you go. I met all three of you wonderful people at the recent publicity summit, and I think I said to you, okay, Danny, you've got 2 minutes. Tell me who you are. Good, wonderful. Okay, type. Okay, Danny, would you like to be on my show? I have an opening on August 4th. Yes, it's 4:45 p.m. Okay, check your calendar. Good. Dana, thank you. You're on. And that's how fast it went. And here all the three of you are. So there. So now what I'd like to do is go around the table, starting with you, Marcia. And I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right. Jacobi, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Don't call me ma'am. I get all
Sorry.
flustered. I live in the South and I get very, very, very flustered. Okay. So, what I'd like to do is have you, I'm putting you on speaker view, Marcia, and I'd like you to tell us, just take about 2 minutes and tell us a little more about your life, what you've done. I just captured the highlights, the key points, but we know there's a lot more in between. So take about 2 minutes. I'm not going to time you, but if you see me doing this, it means, okay, your 10 minutes are up. There we go. And Dana's waiting and Frank's waiting. We got to be nice. Okay, I'm putting you on speaker view. Marcia, you're up. Tell us a little more. And officially, welcome to Read My Lips.
Well, thank you so much. It was a rocky start, but we got there. And with your poem, you had me at Vernon. Vernon was my grandfather. I I am a nursing home administrator. I have worked in nursing homes for it'll be 40 years. Well, it was 40 years in April of this year. And I've done multiple different things, but last year I and a couple of colleagues published our first book, Nursing Homes If These Scrubs Could Talk, which has led to a kind of whole movement with If These Scrubs Could Talk. I am a mother of four. I married a Texan, gave birth to four little Texans, and last night and the day before, I was surrounded by my six grandchildren for the first time, all at the same time.
Wow,
So the
wonderful. What was
youngest
the
is
occasion? What was the occasion? What happened?
one of the grandbabies' second birthday. And so
Congratulations.
I had said we had to get a portrait. They were all going in different directions, but they were in the same frame.
There we go. There's to
Thank
Grandma.
you.
I bet that was a wonderful experience. And so, what are you doing now in your career, and how are the books doing?
Well, I'm still working as an administrator. I do interim work, and it's been fabulous because I've been able to be throughout Texas and New Mexico. And I just go for as long as they need me till they can get somebody permanent. And then I go somewhere else. And it's been fun. And our
So,
books are coming along. We're working on several at the same time.
would you like to give a shout out to your co-authors, Marcia?
Yes. The illustrious Judy Embers, who's an RN from Texas and worked as DON in many nursing homes, great wound care nurse. And Lori Neighbors, who's an LVN reimbursement specialist, corporate level. And I've worked with her for years as well. And we're great friends.
Very, very nice. Well, congratulations on your move. So, are you what's called a floating person, a floater, because you go from place? Uh, I'm in the area called Loudon, Tennessee, and when I had to go to the emergency room about a year ago, it wasn't terrible, but I needed care. I met some very interesting, mostly PAs, and when I left, I thanked them for their care. I was there 9 hours once. It was fine. Everything was fine. But the gentleman said he goes from hospital to hospital. The person who did the ultrasound on my leg also said he floats from hospital
Mhm.
to hospital, and you never know if you go back to that hospital that you're going to get to see them again. And
Right.
I was glad I got to meet them and had their opportunity for them to take care of me, but I was sad that I wasn't going to see them again. And when I had to go a couple months later for something else, I asked, is so and so here? And they said, no, he's at another hospital today. So that was my first experience with that, I guess what you
Mhm.
call interim. So very, very interesting. Marcia, so nice. And I have never seen anybody call in on a phone with a background like that. How did you do it?
I don't know any better than I know why my mic didn't work. I just,
It's absolutely lovely. I know you wanted to show your book, but it's absolutely lovely. So thank you very much for doing that, Frank Buchholz. I'm putting you on speaker view. We'd like to know a little more about you. And Frank, welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate having me. Thank you so much. Bottom line is that I was a financial advisor for 40 years. And when I retired, I had read more than once that you need a sense of purpose when you retire. So my sense of purpose, of course, was to write a book about investing. And it was a rewarding experience. I enjoyed doing it. The creative process is very, very fun. And we got the book done, and I'm quite proud of the results. And now, of course, when I visit with former clients, like I did on like I did on Friday and yesterday, last night for a Neil Diamond presentation at the Orange County, theater, if you will. Um, I get to hand a book to the client and say, "This is the best book on investing you'll ever read." And they look at the book and they go, "Oh, well." Then they look at the who wrote the book and they look at the back cover and see yours truly. And it's a real thrill, to be honest with you, really thrilling. So it's been fun. The marketing is a bit challenging, but it's you got to keep working at it, and again, it keeps my mind active, and it's overall the entire process has been very positive. My daughter succeeded in my practice, and of course now she's talking to my former clients, and I hand the book to my clients, and she hands them to them. So it's been very positive so far.
Lovely. I'm happy for you. Yes, it's very noisy out there in media land, and there's a lot of buzz, a lot of competition,
No
and
question.
I'm gonna later in the show, I'm gonna announce a couple of birthday people we've never heard of, neither you or I, who are on social media, and they have millions of followers,
Okay.
millions. And
Yeah.
I keep looking at my guests and my friends, and I keep saying I'm in the wrong business. I don't know what they're doing, but I have to go do lip syncing or play Fortnite, Marcia, or I have to start doing makeup tutorials. Dana, you and I can work on that. Marcia, you can work on hair tutorials, long hair, and Frank will work on how to work from the beach and how to have a good retirement. We'll come up with something, the four of us, and then maybe we'll get 100. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant 10,000. I meant 1 million followers. Yeah,
Yeah. There you
so
go.
I know it's an interesting environment, and everybody has opportunity to get on a microphone and say
Yep.
something. And
Yep.
this has
Absolutely.
changed in recent years. It didn't, I've been doing the summit. I've been a media guest at the summit, I think, for about 15 years. I've had probably more than 1,000 summit attendees on my shows. And it
Yeah.
wasn't like this back then. It wasn't that crowded. So I applaud how brave the three of you are. Just keep doing it. That's good. Thank you, Frank. And I
My
hope
pleasure. Thank you.
the water is a good temperature behind you, because if you happen to put your toe in the water during the show, Dana, it's a low budget show and I'm the warm up comedian. So just so you know, Dana, I'm delighted to have you as well. Officially welcome. I'm putting you on speaker view, and we'd like to know a little more about you. So here you are. Go ahead.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am Dana S. Diaz, and I am the author of a memoir trilogy about a not so happy life. I was an unwanted pregnancy and experienced abuse in childhood, and then again in my first marriage of 25 years, which became the book that's right behind me, Gasping for Air. I had no idea when I wrote that book that I would ever write any books, be on podcasts, be speaking on stages, but here I am, and I'm just so thrilled that I'm reaching people, and that I'm not glad that they're relating to the things I have been through, but I'm glad that I can be the hope, the beacon of hope for them, that they can see me smiling and see me thriving in life and loving again and living all of my dreams and bringing everything full circle, basically, because I think that's what life is about, moving past the past and making a better present and future.
Very optimistic, very, very beautiful words for such a beautiful young woman. I appreciate
Oh.
that. Thank you all. Show's over. No, we're just getting started. I love to hear what's important to each of my guests, and in between the lines of the poem. And I will tell you later how I wrote those poems for you. But I asked each of you for good length origin story bios, and then I try to capture the highlights. But Frank, you mentioned something about retiring with purpose. I think that's a very important theme today for a lot of people, whether they are retired, right, Marcia, or whether they're in between or interim or changing the style of what they do. You gotta have something to do. Whether it's called a purpose, whether it's called a hobby, whether it's called a reason to get up in the morning. I know this very, very well, and I'll tell you all how I'm handling that. No, I'm not retired yet, but I currently have 5 different radio series. I still call this radio, by the way, because I started in radio about 22 years ago. I call this radio, even though we're streaming video. Hello, hello, hello. We actually had some people watching us today. Isn't that exciting? All 2 million, all two of them. There we go. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is we're going to the part of the show where I've asked each of you to send me a quote from a fictional character in a movie or a TV show or a song lyric, and you're going to relate it to your own creativity. So, Marcia, you're up first again. And Marcia, this was such a strange quote you sent me. It's from the movie. The movie is My Cousin Vinny. I can't believe it's from 1992. That is 8 plus 20. That is 30. How many years ago? 8 plus 25. Yeah,
30,
33 years ago.
32.
Yeah, 32, 33 years ago. Unbelievable. My Cousin Vinny, directed by Jonathan Lynn, starred Joe Pesci, Ralph Macchio, or Macchio, however you pronounce Macchio, Marissa Tomei, isn't she still wonderful? Mitchell Whitfield, Lane Smith, I don't know. The Bruce McGill, one of my favorite. He's an older actor. Fred Gwynn, that's his final film before he passed away. Let's see now. Two young New Yorkers are arrested while traveling in Alabama, and they're put on trial for a murder, but they didn't commit it. Unable to afford a lawyer, they're defended by Gambini's cousin, Vinny Gambini. Joe Pesci, what a role he played. A personal injury lawyer from Brooklyn, New York, who arrives with his fiancée, Mona Lisa Vito, played by Marissa Tomei. However, they don't know Vinny just passed the bar after he failed it a whole bunch of times, and he has no trial experience. He fools the judge, Chamberlain Haller, into believing he's an experienced New York lawyer who works under the alias Jerry Callow. And then that's the clash between the New Yorkers and the people down south and all that. Very funny movie. Here's the line Marcia has picked. I have no idea how you found it, but it's a doozy. Famous for your mud? How's your Chinese food? We'll just leave that one on the table. Marcia, rescue this, please. What does this have to do with your creativity? Go ahead, Marcia.
Well, it was a typical Marissa Tomei moment, or her character. And yeah, so they just pulled into Georgia. They got mud in their tires. And both of them being mechanical, they couldn't understand what that was. Never heard of it in New York. And so one of the gentlemen there said, well, we're famous for mud. And she says, famous for your mud? How's your Chinese food? The thing about that, of course, I remembered, I have to look for it. I knew it. But the thing about that is the comeback and the wit with just in life situations. And so I had my own classic moment. I've had several, but there was a moment when I was dating my husband 39 years ago. And his car was malfunctioning. He was 19. His car malfunctioned.
There you go. There's a little sound effect for you. Go ahead.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It would only drive in reverse. The transmission was shot. Okay. It only drove in reverse. Mm-hmm. He said, frustrated one day as we were backing off of a frontage road. He said, I'm just going to sell this and get a skateboard. And I said, oh, yeah. Or you could trade even.
that was you. I love my sound effects. Well, that's a very, very interesting line. And that was quite a movie, wasn't it, Marcia? I want to say, Marcia, I was going to call you Marissa there for a second.
That's okay, too.
Yeah, that was some role playing, and I have to tell you all a funny story. I should probably be too embarrassed to announce this, but I was in the supermarket here in the Loudon, Tennessee area. Don't ask how I got there. I'm a New Yorker. Don't even ask. And I was looking for some kind of a salmon. It's a packaged seafood area. They don't cut the fish for you right there. Oh, you want how many pieces of salmon? No. It's all packaged. And I saw a gentleman with the bonnet on, the plastic cat, the covering, and a big white apron. And I said, excuse me, where is the such and such salmon? Can you help me? And he came out and said, what could I do for you, lady? What do you need? And I said, oh my God, I said to him, I said, where you from? And he said, I don't talk like that. And he said, I'm from New York, but I grew up in New Hampshire, but I lived upstate. And I said, well, you're not really from New York. I am, and I'm allowed to talk like this, but you're not. And I'm thinking of my cousin. Frank, you can smile now. It's okay. It won't hurt. And I'm thinking of my cousin Vinny the whole time. And I said, what's your name? And he said, my name's Mark. And I told him what my name was. And I said, seriously, you got to stop pretending that you really come from New York, because you don't. And I do. And I'm not supposed to talk like this. But just because I met you, I am. And every time I see him in the store, Dana, I go up and say, how you doing, Mark? And he says, I'm doing fine. How you doing, lady? And it's I haven't spoke. I've never talked like that. But Marcia, the quote from the movie just got me started. I'm sorry
I
about
hear
that.
you.
Thank you. That was lovely. That was absolutely lovely. Frank, you're going to rescue us here. Frank has picked a quote from Harry Callahan, played by Clint Eastwood. Dirty Harry, Magnum Force, 1973. Boy, are we going back in time here. Almost, this is over 50 years ago. No, impossible. 73? That's 25 and 20. That's 52 years. An action thriller film. It's the longest of the five Dirty Harry films. It was 123 minutes long. Can you imagine a movie that was 2 hours and 3 minutes, Dana? And that was considered a long movie back then? I know, I know. Anyway, he played Maverick Cop Harry Callahan, directed by Ted Post, blah, 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 blah. The film score by Lalo Schifrin, very, very famous. I'm going to read the line that you have picked, Frank, and I want you to tell us what it has to do with your creativity. The line is, man's got, all in caps, man's got to know his limitations. Okay, Frank, you're up. What does this mean to you?
So what it means to me, of course, is that I applied it to my book. And of course, to my way of thinking, every person has limitations. And of course, when it comes to investing, most people don't want to know about it or read about it. And when it comes to do-re, me, and money, after your health and your family, that should be the pretty big priority, if you will. So limitation number one, of course, is getting some interest in the investing world. And then, of course, number two is the fact that people are scared. Oh my God, what about the world? It's going to come to an end tomorrow, and watch the news, and we're not going to be around anymore, and blah 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 blah. Well, you know what? We've made it this far. We're going to continue in the future. So don't be afraid to take a little bit of risk. When you get up in the morning, you take risk when you hop out of bed. Blah blah blah. So that's my philosophy. Is it you got to know your limitations, but then deal with them. Get interested in investing, and number two, make sure that you can take a little bit of risk. You have two piles of money, one for savings and liquidity and paying your bills and so on, and the other one, of course, for long-term investing.
Thank you, Frank. I was looking, in addition to that, I knew you were going to go there, but I want to know, what about a man's got to know his limitations in terms of you as an author, in terms of you as a retiree, your creativity, not just your philosophy on investing, which I know is important to your clients, and this is the
Sure.
foundation for your book. But how does this affect you in terms of, I'm going to write a book, I'm going to retire, I'm going to pick a name for my book, I'm going to go out and promote my book, that kind of creativity? What about limitations? Do they stop you?
I think the bottom line, of course, is the fact that, you got to be creative. And one thing I did way back when, we're talking about, eons ago, we're talking about pre-marriage even. So I've been married 45 years this year. So we're probably talking about, maybe 47 years. I actually wrote a book on creativity. Now, I never got it published, but I did write a book on creativity. And of course, that stuck with me all this particular time. And of course, my thinking was, well, my book can be titled, It Only Takes One Good Idea. That was kind of my title. So my next project, of course, could be writing the book on creativity, because it is extremely important in terms of writing a book. And of course, one limitation I found with writing the book is the fact that, guess what, people? Investing books are a lot of times kind of boring for most people. I look at investing books like a medical book, and the medical book would be on digestive disorders. And who wants to read a book about digestive disorders, if you will? So I try to make the book interesting, include real life client examples and so on. And it's different than most investment books, because when you read chapter one, my first client, of course, one of my favorite client was Leo Reyna. And he actually got his first shares of Bank of America from the founder of Bank of America way back when, named A.P. Giannini. So
Very cool.
I try to kind of be creative with the book in terms of having real life stories in there.
I like that. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I was looking for, is how do you create? Thank you very much. And Dana S.
Thank you.
Diaz. Thank you, Dana. We want to know what the S stands for. Can you tell us?
I wish it was simple, but it's not actually my middle initial. It's kind of morbid, but I share a middle name with my mother, who has nothing to do with me because she hadn't wanted me. So Diaz is actually not my legal last name, but it's my birth name, Dana Diaz. So the S is my little nod to my current husband because I love him dearly. And he's like the best girl's girl, but he's a guy, but he is so supportive of all the things that I'm doing to empower women and help you. I know it's so sweet, but we don't want to say that name out loud because then everyone will stalk my personal Facebook stuff and all that. And so it holds a little anonymity, but we love my husband. So.
Well, you send our love to your husband and tell him he's safe with us. In my other life, I use a middle initial that is the first initial of my maiden name, which is hard to pronounce and most people don't know, and it's D. But I used to have a friend when I was producing and hosting TV on Long Island, and he used to say, "It must mean darling." And I said, "Oh, of course it does." So we just let it go. Yes, let it go. So anyway, Dana, dear, I'm going to read your quote now. Dana has picked a quote from something. Oh my goodness, it's less than a year old. Fortnite. Not the game. This is a song. Maybe it is the game by Taylor Swift. It's 3 minutes and 48 seconds long. Why I know that, I don't know, Dana. On her 2024 album, The Tortured Poets Department. I think people are still wondering about that. Song by the singer-songwriter Taylor Swift featuring the rapper and singer Post Malone. And they got a lot of good comments, good feedback on singing together. Let's see. Jack Antonoff produced it with Swift. He played acoustic guitar. Listen to this. Jack played acoustic guitar, electric guitar, the Juno, the M1, the drums, and the percussion. That's what Jack Antonoff did on the song. The song has a 1980s inspired down tempo. It's got electro pop. Dana, this is exciting. It's got synth pop. It's a new wave ballad built around a steady pulsing synth bass line leading to a concluding bridge featuring Swift's and Malone's vocal harmonies. This is very exciting. The lyrics describe an emotionally impactful romance that lasts for 2 weeks. I'm just going to leave it there. So it's a very interesting line you picked, Dana, and I'm going to let you bail us out of this and talk about your creativity. The line is, "I was supposed to be sent away, but they forgot to come and get me." Ooh. Okay, Dana, putting you on speaker view again. What does that mean to you? Okay.
Yeah. Well, number one, I'm a Swiftie. Everybody that knows me well knows this about me. So it had to be a Taylor Swift lyric, but that is the one lyric of her 13 albums that means so much to me. Again, I feel like I keep harping on this, but I was the unwanted child. I was the abused child. I was the silenced child. And so I wasn't supposed to see the truth. I wasn't supposed to speak the truth. I was just supposed to go along with the toxic family system. And so they forgot to come and get me because I'm out speaking my truth. And yes, I've been exiled. Yes, I've been shamed and everything else, but I stand firm in my truth. And I stand firm in the truth of anybody who's ever been mistreated or in an adverse situation of any kind, because somebody has to say something. And I haven't been locked away yet. They can call me crazy. They often do, to discredit me and discredit the things I've said, but it's who I am. And I feel like it's my responsibility to be that voice for victims of bullying, of abuse, of anything of that nature. So
keep finding the air, Dana. Yeah. Keep finding the air. All right. All right. We need to get some applause for you, but I'm picking I'll pick the cheer laugh track. Here we go. Okay. Yeah. There's for you. My engineer, Jordan Henson, who is engineering us for the Voice America Variety channel right now. I'm live streaming us on the other channels. He said to me, "Get sound effects for all of your shows. They're going to be cool." So Jordan, I went out and got a whole bunch, and Jordan, I hope he's proud of me that I'm waiting for him to make a comment here in the chat. Okay, thank you all for the quotes. Very interesting choices, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so let's now go to your creativity statements. This is not a pop quiz. I'm not going to say, Marcia, what was the third one you sent me? Marcia actually asked me to send them to her again. I'm going to pick one or two from each of you. I'm going to read it. And here's what's going to happen. It's going to turn into a real round table. I'll read the statement and ask you to unpack it like they do on the news and keep it to your creativity. And then I'll go around the table. So when Marcia's finished unpacking, I'll ask Dana and Frank. It's not required that you answer, but I'll say, is there anything you'd like to add or any comments? You don't have to say anything, but it's fun if you do. No pressure, kids. Okay, so Marcia, here's your statement number one. I love this one, Marcia. Marcia says, humor is one of my favorite forms of creativity. I use it every day at work with my husband. That was interesting. And in my writing. And here's the kicker. Listen up. Most people listen to music when driving. I, Marcia Jacobi, listen to stand-up comedy. How do you keep your eyes on the road if you got some really good ones there? Marcia, what's your favorite stand-up and how do you do this? What does it do for you? Tell us.
Well, my favorite comedian, I would have to say right now, is Angela Johnson.
Don't know her. What does what does she
Oh,
talk about?
okay. If you ever saw the sound or the little clip she did it probably 20 years ago, she was the one who did the nail salon.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
The
And it
pedicure,
went
right? The pedic.
viral.
Yes. Okay. I know the
Yeah,
one.
yeah. And I can't mimic her voice, but she is darling and she is just so her specials are amazing. So she's got to be my favorite. And I get a lot of clips. I don't know if I'm supposed to say I listen to Siri.
Yeah, you
There's
could say.
Pure Comedy, and then also Jeff and Larry's Comedy Club, which is um what is his name? Jeff
Not Jeff Dunham.
Foxworthy
Okay.
Yeah.
and Larry the cable guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And you
So
listen to
any
them in the car, and do they make you happier? Do they make you drive better? Come on, are you a safer driver listening to comedy? Frank wants to know. Frank wants to know, should he start listening to comedy in the car? Frank, Marcia's going to tell you. Marcia, what's your advice?
I think so, yes. Because I have two stations that I'll switch between. So sometimes you hear the same thing again, or for the 14th time.
That's
But
okay. If it's good, it's
yeah,
good.
short drives, and like every month they change out the tracks, so it is almost always new. And I just like to laugh, and I think it's good to keep me kind of sharp, to kind of see okay, where's going to be the zinger here. And just listening to other people do, you kind of monkey see monkey do, you pick it up.
Very, very nice to know. Dana or Frank, anything you want to comment? Dana, any comments about comedy? Do you use any humor in your? I said I wouldn't make you talk, but I'd love to hear what you think. Go ahead,
No,
lady. Go ahead. Join me.
no, it's fine. I mean, with my traumatic background, I have been told that I'm quite funny. Even in my books, people that know me are like, I could see how you like these things I say, the way I say them, I guess makes people laugh. And I'm like, yeah, the trauma made me funny. So we need to laugh. It releases cortisol. It gets that energy through us and helps us get through life.
Frank, anything
So
you want
true.
to say about comedy?
I think that the humor is very, very healthy for you
Yeah.
because it takes your mind off the stresses of the day and the stresses you're all going through for whatever reason. And I think that it's very, very positive to have some humor in your life, no question. So the concept of listening to humor on Sirius is something I do occasionally as well.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I wouldn't have expected that. I did stand-up comedy years ago. I took a class in New York. I know, Marcia. I was in a very bad relationship, Dana, and I was very unhappy. And I was getting my nails done twice a week and going to therapy twice a week and crying a lot. I was living in with him, and we were supposed to be engaged. Never asked, ever. Anyway, long story. All long ago. And one day, I was reading the New York Times. I was living on Long Island, and I was reading the New York Times and a little tiny reader ad, which is just one of those little prints, and just a column wide, and it was about a half inch tall, and it said, "Would you like to be on stage at a famous comedy club telling jokes?" And I said, "What's this?" My dad used to love humor. He was a doctor, and he'd make his patients relax by telling them a story or a joke. And it was just the way he lived. He was always telling stories. When he passed away, we found a little list of jokes printed out in his wallet that he had written. He wrote the punchlines. He wrote the punchlines, Marcia. All it was the punchlines. We didn't know what jokes they belonged to. Anyway, so I put it in my wallet and I just let it sit there for a while. And one day it fell out of my wallet and I called the phone number and this woman named Mary, who's still around and doing comedy and she has her own everything. I said, "Are you going to write jokes?" And she said, well, I won't lose the word she used, but it was a word we don't use on my show. "Hell no, we're going to teach you how to write your own jokes." And I put it away again, and about 3 weeks later, I signed up for Steve Rosenfeld's American Comedy Institute. And it was 3 weeks of classes. And Frank, you go to a group class and you learn to pick the funniest relative you've ever had, or a funny scene from when you were going to school the first time, something, and you learn to tell a little story about it. Then you meet with Steve Rosenfeld in his office once a week, and he helps you hone in on the core of what's so funny in each story. So you do this for 3 weeks. At the end of 3 weeks, you are booked into one of 3 major comedy clubs in Manhattan. And I picked Caroline's. I know. And then you invite your family and friends to pay the real ticket price at the door. And you go on stage with 10 other knee knocking, oh my God, sweat pouring comedians with a professional, not a headliner, but a professional opening and closing the show, and the blue light and the whole thing. And I must have said something funny because people started inviting me to perform at clubs around, little tiny clubs around New York. I'll tell you offline what my closing joke was. It's a little risque for the show, but anyway, it was just a magical experience. And yeah, I came out and said, I'm born again. You know what the V word is. I said, I've been divorced 21 years and I'm wearing a corsage to celebrate. And people came up to me and said, nobody's talking about divorce on the stage anymore. And I said, well, here I am. And they started inviting me to other clubs. See, Dana, they wanted to hear. They wanted to hear. So there you go. I'm taking too much time here. Let's go to Frank. I'm looking at your statement number 2, your creativity statement, and I like this the best. Everybody listen. Ladies, you might be a little surprised. Frank says, my best time for creating is oftentimes when I am falling asleep. There have been occasions when I get out of bed and write down my ideas to make sure I don't forget them. I love this, Frank. So what kinds of ideas are not about investing? Go back in the book, but about what you're doing in your life and you're retiring and how you're spending your time. What ideas are coming to you in the middle of the night, Frank?
Well, I think the ideas that come to me in the middle of the night, of course, would be future projects, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a book pretty well written on creativity. I also want to do a spirituality book, and there's certainly, I think, some impetus towards that. And then I also have, of course, a science fiction novel that would knock your socks off if you knew the plot. So I've got these various wild concepts out there, and then what I do is I typically fall asleep, but I typically write the book in my mind as I'm falling asleep. And I've gotten to the point now where I can actually wake up in the morning and I can kind of almost, go through it and, put it in my little, computer here, if you will, in terms of the microphone and so on, and get it out there on a piece of paper. So it's been very rewarding, and it also helps me to sleep better. So it's been a win-win situation all the way around.
Wonderful. I used to write down the solution to math problems when I was in the 7th or 8th grade. I keep a pencil and paper. This was before cell phones, kids. Keep a pencil and paper next to the bed, and I wake up and it would say, 9.79403 times 92, and it would be the right answer. Marcia, I don't know if it was White, that was a math major, but anyway, it was very, very interesting. Ladies, anything you want to say about that middle of the night spark of intuition or emotion or creativity? Marcia, has that ever happened to you?
Yes. And my preference now is to leave a voice message myself so I don't have to turn the light on, get the pen or paper.
Great. Absolutely great. I sometimes email myself, or I keep a text. I keep a text to myself. So I text it to myself and it's there in the morning. Yes. Dana, does that ever happen to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the reason is because when you're focusing so much on something and I could have been maybe working on a paragraph or a chapter or trying to close a chapter and I'm for days. But then when your mind is relaxed, I'll be like picking bananas at the store, like the most, strangest place. I'm not even thinking about writing anything, or like Frank, I'm falling asleep or I wake up in the middle of the night because my mind has been working on the lines and the right words. And I'm like, aha. But I'm like you, Marcia, I just get the voice recorder and just real quick whisper in it and then go back to sleep and let my mind keep writing.
Frank, we got to get you a voice recorder. We got to get that app for you. It's on your phone. It is
on your phone.
We'll have your daughter show you how to use it. Thank you very much. By the
course.
way, Dana, I go to the store once a week and I have a banana milkshake every morning, and I have to pick 7 to 9 bananas once a
Yes.
week that aren't spotted and aren't speckled and
Yes.
aren't
They
all
have to be a
yellow.
little green.
Some
Yeah.
of them are green, but 2 of them have to be ready to eat the next morning
Yes.
and the day
Yes.
after. So I spend a lot of time
Thank you.
in the banana
Thank
department.
you.
Yes.
So do
And
I.
and Frank, sometimes when I'm falling asleep at night, I'm writing a whole section of my novel. I absolutely agree with you. That's the creative mind, I think. It's just going and going and going. Dana,
Mm.
I'm going to combine 2 of your creativity statements. We got about 12 minutes left here. Oh, 7 minutes left. Wait a minute, 11 minutes. We're good. Okay. Dana says, I'm often inspired by what I hear or read. It could be a song lyric, something a tarot reader claims. I haven't heard that one before. A social media post. My mind takes it and runs. And then you say, creating for me involves multiple phases of recreating. It never ends until someone tells me there is a deadline. Even then, I'm redoing whatever is done. So I'd like to focus on the tarot and the song lyric first. We give you about 2 minutes. So go ahead, Dana. What you got?
Well, just sometimes a lyric speaks to me. I hear a lyric in a song and it just kind of takes me back or triggers some memory or triggers some random thought. I've had memories that I suppressed from 30 years ago that I'm like, how could I not remember that? Or just triggers a way that I can craft words together to better describe something. Or it's just describing something that I could not verbalize myself. And I'm like, aha, that's it. That's the feeling, or that's, what was happening to me in that moment. But the tarot thing, I'm sorry, but well, I'm not. My mother's family is from Puerto Rico. They're spiritual people in the Caribbean. They do they call it witchery, I guess, but they brew stuff and, they do tarot cards and crystal balls and all, psychics and all that. So yeah, there are some tarot readers that are very good out there that are legitimate, and just sometimes they can say something, even if it's not directly to me. It could just be a general, like something on TikTok or YouTube. And it's just like, aha, again, it's that thing that like I'm feeling, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And they just said that one phrase that's like, that's it. Thank you. Thank you for validating what I feel. Thank you for helping me finally release that thing that I can't express myself, because once you can acknowledge it and be aware of it, you can do something with it. And that's been part of my healing process.
There you go. There we go. I want to make sure we got that in there for you. That was your gasp. Okay. Thank you
Okay.
very much all for those very interesting creativity statements. I promised you I was going to read you some social media star birthdays for today, just so you know how much people are doing, Frank, to get followers. So we have on YouTube, we have a young lady named Nabella Noor, and she's 34 today. Happy birthday. And she's a beauty and lifestyle vlogger known for self-love, body positivity, and home design content. I'm not sure how those all go together, but she has 1.2 million on YouTube, 2.3 million on Instagram, and 1.5 million on TikTok. Frank, if
Wow.
you're a human computer, you want to add those up. I'm coming up with two, three, four. Let's see now, 5 and 5. I'm coming up with 5 million followers across the 3 platforms. Then we have on TikTok, mostly, we have Sabrina Breyer, who's 31. She's a comedic actress known for satirical sketches about social behavior, brunch girls, and New York types. I made that accent up. She has 2.1 million followers on TikTok. She only does YouTube shorts, and she has 340,000 on Instagram. So obviously she's only just starting out. But happy birthday, Sabrina. And then we have, looks like a gentleman who is called Quenlin Blackwell, who's 24. He's the baby today. A bold, funny, fashion-forward influencer who posts hilarious vlogs and viral videos. You ready for this? Frank, I need you to compute this for me. Instagram, 1.8 million. TikTok, 7.6 million. And YouTube, 1 million. So he is topping out 7, 8, 9, 10, about 10.4. What do you think? We got 10.4?
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. So that's what's happening in that social media world. Yes, it's very, very interesting. I'm glad we talked about the bananas and the comedy too. We're just about where we have a couple of minutes left. So Let me ask just around the table really quickly. You know what? I'm going to read you my poem. I have a poem I usually read. I'm a poet. I belong to an online group on Wednesdays, and every day of the month during April and November every year, we get prompts from the moderator, and I write 3 to 5 to 8 poems a day during those months, and 3 to 5 poems every Wednesday. And I'm up to about 700 poems so far. I've written my own little book of it, but I'll share it if you want it. This one is called, an acrostic called Night Shift. Nightshift. Those are the letters, and I will try. I'm not going to share the screen, but I'll try to emphasize the letter. And I think you'll appreciate this because I'm dedicating this to all of you. Here we go. Nightshift. Never quite really at rest. It's the life of a creative. Going, gripping, gyrating, growling, groaning, growing, highs and lows, flowing on a mental Mobius strip. The days are the nights are the days again, shifting off and on into and out of gear, hoping for unique brilliance even once. It's a calling, command, curse, roller coaster, finding eureka, euphoria amid frustration and fears. Thus is the life of the creative. What'd y'all think? Marcia?
I am impressed. I love that alliteration and
yes, it's just one of those things. It just trips off the tongue. Frank, I think I wrote that in my sleep one night.
Yeah, that was very, very good. Very positive.
We get the prompt at about 7 or 8 in the morning if you're up that early, and then there's 30 or 40 or 50 poets. It's a little community of poets. I'm the class clown. I'm the one who writes the funny ones. Most of them are very, very, very serious, Dana. Very, very deep,
Okay.
very, very deep poetry. But I come out with, yes. And I have a series I'm doing of limericks, Frank, on little Timmy driving Dad's T-Bird. And sweet Susie is his girlfriend. And she's either turning the mirror or sitting on his lap. And he crashes the T-Bird into the garage, so he doesn't have car privileges anymore. And the question is, are people on Team Timmy or Team Sweet Susie, who has admitted that she is doing some not nice things on Timmy's lap and distracting him. So
Wow.
I think I'm on my 8th week, and this Wednesday will be, I think, 9th week. And I have people asking, well, is Susie going to find a new boyfriend? And is Timmy going to get a new girlfriend? And will Timmy's dad let him have the car when it's fixed? And how much is it going to go to Ross to repair it? Anyway, so that's my one of my contributions. So let me go to now. We're just about out of time. I think, Jordan, we got about 3 minutes left. Yeah, probably. Okay, let's go around the table. I want one sentence from each of you. I don't usually do this, but I think it'll be fun. I hope so. Marcia Jacobi, what does creativity mean to you in your life? One sentence, the top thing it means to you that it enables you to do. What have you got?
I think we are all created to be creative. So it's fulfilling to me.
Fulfilling. I like that very much. And Frank, what does creativity mean to you?
Well, the creativity means to me, I was able to write my book, The Investor's Golden Playbook, and quite candidly, I'm darn proud of it. But it was the creativity side of it that I think made it as good as I possibly could, and I think it's very well done. Obviously, I'm biased, but I'm very proud of it.
Well, we're proud of you for being proud of it. There you go. And that's quite an accomplishment. Dana S. Diaz, what does creativity mean to you?
Creativity to me is when you express yourself outside of the bounds of expectations, politeness, all the stuff that people in society tell us we should stay within. I like to color outside the lines a little to see what happens.
I like that a lot. I want you all to stick around because we've got to take some pictures afterwards. I'm going to read my closing now instead of rushing through it. I actually have, I have 1 whole minute to do it. In 2014, I closed my shows with the top 10 tips for women. It pays to save stuff. Okay, Frank, I have notes from 2014 and way before. I've been doing this over 20 years. And the top tip was, and this is 2014, okay? And we know Greta Gerwig is having a birthday and she helped her write screenplay and direct Barbie. Okay, the top 10 tip was, aspire to be Barbie, the biatch has everything. 10 years before the movie, and we found out she did. Okay, now here's my final closing. Life is short. Break the rules. Aren't we all a little bit trying to? Frank and Dana and Marcia, break the rules. Forgive quickly. Not really. Kiss slowly. Oh, yeah. Love truly. Oh, yes. Laugh uncontrollably. Everybody laugh with me. 1, 2, 3. Frank laughed. Marcia, be careful. Don't fall off that log there. I lost my place here. And let's see. And where are we? And never, ever, ever regret anything that made you smile. And final words: work like you don't need the money. Frank knows what that means. Dance like no one's watching. When I taught disco in high heels in a high school cafeteria to 210 people, they all watched. I never fell. Sing like nobody's listening. I sang a little. You had to listen. What can I tell you? You're all polite. Love like you've never been heard. We all have. Let your heart regrow, rebirth, refine love, learn to love again. And finally, money talks, chocolate sings, la. That's where I let myself sing. And last but not least, I stole this line from a host years ago. Thank you for turning me on. I'm akaRadioRed. Let's get this party started with the final shout out here, and let's do our closing. Here we go.
On Read My Lips Radio, producer and
Dance
host,
with me.
aka
Don't go away,
Radio
Ed.
Red, invites you to eavesdrop on her live, unscripted conversations with smart, savvy,
Come on, Frank,
creative
force
people
yourself.
as she discovers what makes them tick, where they find their inspiration, when creativity first became their passion, and how their creative process can inspire the rest of us to think out of the box. Enjoy aka Radio Red's always lively, cool conversations with creatives. Oh, how those lips can talk.
There we go. Thank you very much. Wave